Hello, this is the second part to my first recording on seeing behind the facade. If you have coming from an abused background or even an addictive background, I'd include that too, recognize spiritual abuse because you may be especially vulnerable. And are you attending church? You may be vulnerable to a spiritually abusive church. So please click like and subscribe and giving you some ideas here. You need to be able to recognize spiritual abuse and avoid the whitewashed, Christianized version of abuse. And I do have a much more extensive discussion of spiritual abuse, toxic churches, toxic people who claim to be Christians. But this is a bit shorter. And one of the things you may find if you have come from that type of background, you may be, in fact, somewhat more looking for stability, a safe and secure base contrary to the family which you grew up in, certainty and consistency, and a more stable environment, again, not there during childhood, or a strong, protective, consistent parental figure, which you may see in a church leader. Um, so continuing onward, you may even go for images, rituals, asceticism, again, looking for stability. Asceticism, something which pleases you, and maybe even finding some sensuality in ways which weren't really biblically founded. So I want to go on here, and again, for those who are actually from spiritual abusive and addicted backgrounds, it really is a personal danger that you may find some appeal in these type of churches. They may repeat an abusive family environment, and it may seem to be strangely comfortable and familiar to you if you grew up that or experienced with that. An abusive church may offer a lot of pre-packed opinions and structure to those who are coming from an addictive and abusive background who are looking for some sort of structure and certainty, find an escape and a relief from the kind of chaos that was in their background. But the thing is, if they go into that kind of church, they may remain spiritually stunted and deep, and may not go on to the deeper work in their character which is necessary for transcending that kind of background. And there's a term in the recovery movement called the dry drunk that maybe even if you get over the substance, the alcohol, the drug, whatever it may be, the dry drunk is a person who continues on with those characteristics in the person who is most vulnerable to going back into the abuse of the substance, because there really isn't just the substance that's the problem. It's the character. Bill Wilson called it alcoholism a disease of the soul. And not really a physical disease. There are physical ramifications, physical symptoms, um, physical desires, etc. But to continue on, you need to have not just the mood-altering substance removed, but to deal with the character defects that mark the addict and the abuser. And in the abusive church, the rigid opinions and structures and unrealistic expectations may eventually become something which keep you away from that. They serve as vehicles often for misplaced anger, bitterness, and abuse, and shelter, and isolation. But they may seem strangely familiar to people who've grown up in these type of backgrounds. So sometimes the leaders of the churches actually go on to spout actually doctrines, false teaching, actually heretical doctrines. So I think you want to keep away from them. So in my previous video, I've mentioned some books which I would refer to the content, to the comments there, and the whole list. There's a PDF document which I have for you there. So this is going to be brief because this is much more there, but in a way, if you come across this video, I'd encourage you to watch the next one after this video. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. I hope this helps you, and I really really hope and pray that you're blessed by finding a church which lifts up Jesus, preaches and teaches the Bible, and loves you as Christ has loved the church, which loves you in that way, and where you can find rest and where you can find peace with other believers, with other people. And even if that's not familiar, that you'll grow used to what it means to be in a place where they speak the truth in love. So thank you so much for your time, for your attention.